Let's take a look at some of the reactions that are in fact coming in. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned the attack. He has stated, and I quote, that we condemn the attacks in the strongest terms. But this is not all. What is also interesting is that news is coming in that the United States had warned Russia about a planned terrorist strike. Now, the United States, meanwhile, maintains that it had warned Russia about the possibility of an attack in Moscow earlier. Adrian Watson, who is the spokesperson for the White House National Security Council, has stated that earlier this month itself, the US government had information about a planned terrorist attack in Moscow, potentially targeting large gatherings to include concerts, which prompted the State Department to issue a public advisory to Americans in Russia. So I'd like to rope in Mr. Srivastav into the discussion over here. The US also, and it's no secret that the US and Russia have been at odds with each other ever since the World War has ended. We are all aware of the Cold War. We are all aware of the competition, the tussle that takes place between these two countries, whether it is on a war footing through proxy wars or it is even in the economic sphere. But the US has come out and made this statement. What is the magnitude of such a response from the US, such a warning from the US to the Russians? And it seems that, unfortunately, people have now perished, whatever the reasons may be for the attack that has taken place, but people have now died.
Well, Pia, one thing is quite certain that the menace of terrorism is an international challenge. And all the countries, as I was saying, must come together. And in this case, the United States of America is claiming that they had shared this intelligence that there could be a large-scale attack on some, gathering, concerts, etc. in days ahead. And that is what US is saying at this point of time. And this may have been the case. I think Russian authorities will, verify it, whether such intelligence was shared with them or not. But one thing is quite certain that countries may have differences, strategic differences, differences on many other issues. But on the issue of terrorism, there cannot be any compromise. Differences will not do. And this, menace of terrorism, if it has to be defeated at all, it has to be defeated collectively. And no matter whether it is United States of America, or Russia, or India, or even China or other countries, they all must come together. The responsible nations, those who are believed to be the protector of the international order, the rules-based order, all the big powers will have to come together to fight and defeat this menace of terrorism. This is an international issue, and Russia has been targeted in the past also. The Russian embassy in Kabul was attacked in year 2022. Russian fighter jets, Russian passenger jets had been attacked, and several conspiracies were hatched by the terror organization in past also. In Middle East region, we have seen the Russian forces do come under attack from such terror outfits. So I think this menace of terrorism will have to be taken very, very seriously. And there should not be, as I was saying, there should not be any politics. There must not be any politics. There must not be any compromises on to deal with this issue of terrorism. Recently, we had seen what kind of a dastardly attack took place on Israel, the biggest terror attack on October 7, and now this attack in Moscow. So, if the international community remains divided and they do not come together to fight and defeat this menace of terrorism, such attacks will continue taking place in various places, various parts of the world. This ISIS, Khorasan in particular, is rising its head again, and this must be given a proper and efficient response so that they do not carry out such attacks. And they are very much active in Afghanistan. They are also attacking Taliban government and they do not have good terms with Taliban. This ISIS Khorasan is becoming so ambitious at this point of time that they want to rule Afghanistan. They want to overthrow the Taliban regime in Afghanistan, and they are having their fight on that territory. But now they are not limited to the fight territory in Afghanistan, but also they are spreading all over the world. And at this point of time, it appears that when President Putin has won this re-election with a very huge margin, big margin, it appears that they wanted to convey some message to the President Vladimir Putin that they are there and they will continue challenging him and his rule. And they consider, certainly, it appears that President Putin and his activities in the Middle East region and elsewhere is against the interest of this terror, jihadi Islamic organization, terror organization, ISIS Khorasan. So I think this organization has carried out attacks in Russia in the past also. It has a history. They have attacked United States of American forces, Kabul, airport, as I was mentioning, when the U.S. forces were withdrawing, it is Islamic State Khorasan. They attacked Kabul airport, and about 13, U.S. soldiers, at least 13 U.S. soldiers, died in that, incident. So I think they are very much active in Afghanistan, and also they are spreading their tentacles through social media, encrypted messaging, etc., etc. So I think this must be taken very, very seriously and united. And resolve and response is required by the international community, whether it is US or Russia or India or other countries.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.